Trump accounts. Yes, this is a real thing. Whether you're saving for your kids or your grandkids, you'll want to know what's going on. Trump accounts are being sold as a way to give kids a head start. And yes, they come with free money from the government. This is all part of the new tax bill that just passed a few weeks ago. These Trump accounts, they make an already complicated saving system even messier. With most of our clients, we're already having an entire meeting dedicated solely to explain each option for child savings and help them determine which option is best for them. Since we spend so much time on this, my hot take is there are far better options than this new one. Let's break it down. Hi, my name's Rob, Certified Financial Planner, here to help you get the most ROI out of life and your money. Here's the headline. If your child is born between 2025 and 2028 as a U.S. citizen with a Social Security number, the federal government will drop $1,000 into a Trump account for them. No strings, no income limits. Every baby born in those years gets it. And apparently the information we have right now says it's going to be held with the Treasury. So this is going to be another account that we'll have to keep track of and go find somewhere within the government system. After that one-time $1,000, the way that these accounts work is that you and anyone else can put up to $5,000 per year into the account starting in 2027. Employers, which we don't know exactly how, can also chip in up to $2,500. Those would be tax-free. They won't count as income to you, but there's also no deduction. The $2,500 does, however, count towards the $5,000 limit. So if they do that, then you can't put in as much. The money that you put into the account does not get any tax deduction. So it's kind of like a Roth, but it's not at all. And I'll go over that. It's just an after-tax, non-deductible contribution into these accounts. I'll tell you what I mean in just one second. Once the money is in the account, it must be invested in super low-cost index funds. So that's not bad. Index funds tracking the S&P 500 or NASDAQ, things like that. No niche sector funds, no high-fee mutual funds. So that's good. The account grows tax-deferred. But here's where the restrictions really start to kick in and why I say it's kind of like a Roth, but actually not. For starters, the account can't be touched at all prior to age 18 without paying taxes and penalties. From age 18 to 59, withdrawals are allowed, but any of the earnings you take out are taxed as ordinary income. And if they're not used for qualified expenses, you're also hit with a 10% penalty, kind of like an IRA before 59. So what qualifies as a qualified expense? Well, there's not much. There's unlimited withdrawals for college tuition and other higher education costs, which is just the same thing as a 529 plan. But there's also an allowed $10,000 for a first-time home purchase and certain exceptions for medical expenses or other IRS-declared hardships. At age 59 and a half, you still pay income taxes on the earnings, but there's no penalty. Even for education, you can avoid the penalty, but there's still taxable income on the earnings. And so I'd like to say it's kind of like a handcuff Roth IRA, but it's really not. A Roth IRA gives you flexibility, more investment options, potentially completely tax-free withdrawals in retirement. Even 529 plans, the money goes in, maybe you can get a tax deduction for your state, it grows completely tax-free, and then if you do use it for educational expenses, the money comes out completely tax-free. Not to mention, 529s have added new rules to say they can be used for K through 12, and you get up to a $35,000 lifetime exception where if you don't use the 529 funds, you can just roll them into a Roth IRA. And it's even not as straightforward as an UTMA account, where you could just gift the assets to the child and invest them however you want, and then same as this account, the child just gets control over the account when they turn 18 or age 21, depending on the state. But with Trump accounts, you're completely locked in until 18, or the parent could just decide to pay the taxes and penalty and take the money. And then when you do withdraw the funds, whether it's for medical expenses or college education, you're still going to pay taxes on the growth. I'm just missing, other than the free $1,000 that's going to go in there for each of these children, how these Trump accounts are any better than any of the accounts that are already in existence. And I say I'm wondering, but I just don't see it. And we spend a lot of time analyzing these options for clients. Oh, and the last thing that I want to mention that I almost forgot about is that there's also no rollovers allowed for these accounts. You can't just turn this account into an IRA, Roth IRA 529 plan or something like that later. So this is also just adding one more account to keep track of. And sure, $1,000 could turn into $5 or $10 grand eventually, but it would be nice if at least they maybe added a rule that said at age 18 it could be rolled into a Roth IRA or rolled into a 529 plan or something like that. Because I think a lot of people are just going to lose track of these accounts if the money isn't actually just taken out in the first place when the child's super young and the parent just decides to pay taxes and penalty on it and take the net that's left over. So to wrap up here, what I would say, if you want simplicity and strong tax benefits for your child's future, look at 529 plans, Roth IRAs, or even a UTMA, an UTMA account, a Uniform Transfer to Minors Act account, which I have a separate video right here where we discuss in detail each of those options. Long story short, these Trump accounts aren't a silver bullet for building your child's future. The free money doesn't hurt. Don't get me wrong, $1,000 is $1,000, but I think ultimately it's just another hoop to have to jump through. They could have given us that extra $1,000 through even higher child tax credits than what they already improved, or some other program that even more focused on the kids that really needed that extra $1,000. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that subscribe button and stay tuned for more just like it. See you next time.